We continue our study through 1 Corinthians, beginning in verse 20 of chapter 1. Where is the wise person? Where is the teacher of the law? Where is the philosopher of this age? Has not God made foolish the wisdom of the world? For since in the wisdom of God, the world, through its wisdom, did not know him, God was pleased through the foolishness of what was preached to save those who believed. Jews demand signs. Greeks look for wisdom. But we preach Christ crucified, a stumbling block to Jews and foolishness to Gentiles. But those whom God has called, both Jew and Greek, Christ, the power of God and the wisdom of God. For the foolishness of God is wiser than human wisdom, and the weakness of God is stronger than human strength. The writer of Corinthians takes a very circular approach to creating an argument about the things of this world versus the things of heaven. The idea of logic, wisdom, in a worldly sense, and the reality of what the writer believes is the wisdom of God, the way God has chosen to make things. So it says, where's the wise person of this age? Where's the philosopher, the teacher? And then it goes on to say, we believe Christ crucified. In light of the logic of the Greeks, doesn't make any sense. In light of the search for wisdom literature of the Jews, doesn't make any sense. The only way it makes sense is that it was appointed to be so by God, setting it apart as something which has to be grasped not just objectively. There is a lot of objective evidence for the death of Christ. There is a lot of objective evidence for the resurrection of Christ. And then there are testimonies of subjective evidence for those who embrace subjectivity. School of Philosophy, Phenomenology, Edmund Husserl, they believe that subjective wisdom is just as important to philosophy as objective wisdom and truth. So, in this way, the wisdom of Christ is borne out subjectively within our hearts, within our minds, within our understanding. God touches us somehow, and we believe. For those who do believe, Paul says, God's wisdom is better. God's strength is better, regardless of how foolish it seems in the world. For you and I, as independent thinkers, and remember, the Corinthians were free people, they were independent. As independent people, we would like to believe that we're smart, that we're logical, that we're reasonable, that we have control over our own environment, our own decisions. And Paul would say, okay, that's fine. But he would suggest to you that you are part of something else once you accept Christ, once you accept the wisdom of the cross. You live a countercultural existence to freedom. And that somehow that countercultural walk of choice to serve others before yourself is a place to find true joy and freedom. Galatians says, whom Christ has set free is free indeed. So the reality of the cross is counterintuitive. But Paul encourages us to trust it, to believe it, to know that real wisdom lies not in trusting fallible man, but trusting an infallible, magnificent, and unbelievable, unobtainable, unimaginable God, who is so much greater than we can conceive, but who loves us intimately and personally, so much so that he gave his Son on our behalf. Have a great Sunday.